Check 1, 2. Should be live now. I see myself on here. Can I pin this message? Pin message, there we go. Alright, so I'm going to keep writing some music. Maybe I'll wait a second for a couple of people to jump in. I know I'm streaming earlier today than I did last week. Kind of depends on my schedule. I have a couple of students after this and then another gig tonight, so in a reasonable amount of time. So I'm streaming at 1 o'clock my time. I try to stream a little later usually if I can. We'll see. I've got the 8-string today. I decided to turn this into an 8-string song. I talked last week about, as I was writing this, that I was just going to do a 7-string and tune my low string down to F sharp, which was cool. But as I started thinking about it and actually writing a bunch more music, I ended up deciding to go to an 8-string. And how I'm tuning it is basically like I'll tune a 7-string normally, so you have the drop A on a 7-string. So standard tune guitar on top, and then actually I suppose I can pull it up here on Guitar Pro and you can see it. Standard tune guitar on top, drop A, and then actually I guess it's the standard tune 8-string because the bottom for this particular song is F sharp. So it'd be F sharp, A, B, A, D, G, B, E, right, up like that. Just the way some of the riffs were working as I was playing, it made sense to do it in this particular tuning. So actually, I said I wasn't gonna. I said I was just gonna write this on stream, but then I ended up getting inspired, and I wrote a ton more music for this off camera. So I'll explain what I did. I basically have sketched out well over half the song now. We've got the whole like first couple verses and choruses, and even like parts of the too, and then a bunch of random riffs I wrote, which I don't know if they're gonna fit, but I'll try them. So if anyone's here, let me know how everything sounds. I know there's some cutting in and out of the audio last week as I listened back to it, which is funny because I tested it and everything was fine. Hey, you with the guitar. Yeah, that's me. This is a big guitar. This has many strings. It feels weird. I haven't played my 8-string in a super long time, so it honestly feels fairly uncomfortable. Go Vandals. Nice. That's someone I knew from my college days. I went to the University of Idaho, studied music, and our mascot was the Vandals. So that's what that's all about. Anyway, it feels weird to me to play the 8-string because I haven't in a long time. In fact, I play my 7-string quite a bit. But honestly, I do a lot of my practicing and all of my gigs on a 6-string, obviously. So like jumping onto a big neck like this is a little weird at first, but I think it works a lot better for a lot of these riffs. So there's a couple things I did, and I can re-explain this stuff as people come in. I wanted to, before we just had the verse, basically the verses and the chorus. That's what I did last week. And those are all there, and they're essentially the same. I did some small adjustments here and there. But what I wanted to do was add some kind of an intro. I think I'd originally planned for the intro to be a little more bombastic, but it ended up being more kind of groove focused and moody. So one thing I did, we're in 15/16, right, for this entire song. Well, not for the entire song. There's some metric modulations and stuff, but at least for this main groove is 15/16. And another way you could divide, the main way I'm dividing it in this song is 4/3/4/4. That's the math. That's kind of what that main groove is, right? So when you listen to like the verse part, right, that's the groove. Right. But another way you can divide 15 is as 3 groups of 5. So basically you get 3 quintuplet beats if you were wrote it out that way. But what I ended up doing was doing this figure here, and you can see it on the guitar, where basically the top note is playing groups of 5, so it's an even rhythm. You can hear it at the beginning. Which is cool, right? If you heard that out of context, you'd think it's 4/4, right, or something like that. But then underneath that, on the lower note, I do that 4/3/4/4 rhythm. So you basically have these 2 rhythms superimposed on top of each other. Not really a full like polyrhythm, because it's not, the 4/3/4/4 isn't like a steady groove, but it has a little bit of that sort of vibe. So that's what this sounds like when I do that. I don't know why I'm getting so many ads. I set this to do like ads very, very infrequently, so hopefully it's not kicking you guys in and out too much. I may have to adjust that even more for the next one. Well, that's basically what's happening here. So I'm using that kind of same chord I had at the beginning, right? This sort of like A minor 11 kind of shape. And I have these 2 rhythms basically against each other, right? So it gives this cool syncopation, right? Right, that's kind of the vibe. Obviously, I have a bunch of distortion on here. And I kind of let this linger and groove a bit. And then I have some interesting sort of chord variations that happen later. I kind of bring in the melody a little bit on guitar. It ramps up in intensity a tiny bit before it kicks into the verse. So we'll see if my computer, as long as it doesn't cut in and out too much, we'll kind of do this whole introduction section before the verse that I wrote off screen. Ignore the terrible ride cymbal. So there's part of the melody. Oh, I hate my computer. I really need to get a new computer. It can't even handle Guitar Pro right now. I wonder if there's a preference thing I can do here. Let me experiment with it. Maybe I'll get like a lower latency sort of thing for just for the sake of streaming. But that gives you an idea of what that kind of intro sounds like. I think it's pretty cool. Buffer size, sample, okay. I don't know if this is going to work any better, but. Seems better. And then it basically is essentially the same as I had written it last week. I actually do kind of continue this like 3 groups of 5 thing over top of the first verse because I think it's still fit and sort of connects the intro to the first verse. But the first verse and then the second verse where it changes the chord progression, that is something else I did last week. That is all the same. And then from there it goes into the chorus. And what I decided to do was the first chorus, I kind of just like sketched out the chorus last time, just the chord progression and the rhythms. So for the first chorus, what I'm actually doing is making it quiet. I decided to do that, kind of keep the energy down, save the real loud, heavy stuff for later. So that's the chorus. We can listen to it now. Basically now it's just bare bones, like clean guitar and piano. And then I also have a vocal melody on top of it. So here's the chorus. Intro part. Metric modulation. Chorus. Okay, so obviously I did quite a bit there. I basically fleshed out the chorus a little bit more the second time it repeats. I still might adjust the melody a bit, like have it change halfway through. I kind of have just a bare bones melody for the choruses right now. I think it sounds nice. In this first chorus where it's quiet, I really want to add some more interesting piano stuff where some piano figures, nice pretty moving runs and stuff like that. And I might have the guitar catch some of that and just make it a little bit more, we give it some more movement. Right now it's just kind of like block chords and the melody. So a lot of times I'll start with that kind of a thing, right? Let's figure out the melody, and then we'll sort of adjust it after that, make it a little more fleshed out. So that's basically what's happening in the chorus. The second verse is essentially like it was before, the more groovy section, and then you have the metric modulation, which is exactly the same as the original piece I wrote. So if you check out the comment I pinned, you can check out the original 15 to 19 metric modulation piece that this is based off of. And that metric modulation, this second verse is basically that metric modulation part exactly as it was originally written. I think it's cool. So what I'm planning on doing, actually maybe I'll talk about this other thing I added here. So I basically added this little tag into the chorus. So we are in the metric modulation, and then I modulate back to 15/16, but this time with the triplets, or the 16th note triplets, or the sextuplets, which kind of happened before the second verse. And then I have this sort of rising chord progression. This chord progression is really interesting, and actually, I suppose to talk about the chord progression, I got to go back to this intro, loud intro part, this part here. Great, this gets a little bit weird. So the chord progression, a lot of this song is based off of, the verses especially, is that minor chord to a major 7 chord, a half step down. So at least at the beginning, it's like A minor 11 to A flat major 7, or A flat major 7 sharp 11. Right. That's kind of what the whole verse is doing. This whole. And last time we went over the verse and I kind of reharmonized it, which is what happens in the later verses, which is cool. But this chord progression goes up a minor third in the metric modulation part, and this was part of the original thing that I had written here in the metric modulation. So it's basically that chord progression and then up a minor third. So C minor 11 and then B major 7 sharp 11. So that's the chord progression. And that's cool, and I'm using that here in this metric modulation part, but I'm also using it in a riff that happens later. But I wanted kind of a darker variation on this, if that was possible. So what I did was basically took these chords here, and at least in the intro part, it's in just in the C minor version, so it's C minor to B major 7. So what I do is halfway through each of these chords, I'm going to make like a darker version of it. So it's like this. Then I raise the B flats in this chord to B. So let's see if I can play this. It's not really meant to be played as one voicing, but. So it's. I can't really play this on one guitar, but. And then we do B minor, B major 13, and then I keep the B underneath, and I play an E flat major arpeggio over top of B, a very sort of dissonant slash chord, like so. So on the top, what you get is this sort of rising melody. Basically what it sounds like, but underneath you have C. Oh, I can do it. I can do it there. Oh, this is stretchy. Right. So that's, once again, these aren't designed to be played as one voicing, but that's basically what's happening with those chords. You can hear that kind of darker vibe. I'm basically keeping the same core progression, right? That minor chord to a major chord, a half step down. I'm just adding these kind of spicier top parts on top of the bass notes. So you can hear it here. And actually, in the overdrive guitar, I play these exact voicings I just played. So, C underneath, B, B. So that is a real weird, interesting chord progression, but I think it keeps the sort of vibe of the original, but adds a little bit of that darkness, which is what I was going for. Now, after the metric modulation part, to get into the second chorus, I wrote this little transition part, which brings back some of those 16th note triplets that happened before the second verse, and then also takes this chord progression I just talked about. And what I do here is basically do that chord progression first in A and then in C. So everything I just talked about in the key of C, I first do it 3 half steps down in the key of A. So it's like. And then the same thing up. And there's this riff happening underneath. So we hear how this sounds. And then that little triplet run is actually a perfect transition to the second chorus. Getting in and out of the choruses, because they're in this compound, like 12/8 meter, is a little bit tricky, but I kind of worked that out, and that was like a perfect transition into the second chorus. I think it sounds really cool. So what I'm envisioning vocally, because you don't see there's no vocals here for this sort of large section, so we have that main verse melody, right? And then once it hits the metric modulation, we're going to start the harsh vocals. I have in my head some sort of rhythmic ideas. I'd have to have lyrics, I think, to really get exactly the phrasing down and all that. If anyone wants to like write lyrics for this, please do, because I'm terrible at writing lyrics. It's the one thing I'm bad at. I feel like I can write vocal melodies really well, but lyrics are a whole nother thing. So once this metric modulation kicks in, we're going to have harsh vocals, and then I'm also planning, I think, and once I sort of mock it up with better instruments and stuff, you'll hear how this sounds. But there's this on top of this metric modulation, and I'm thinking that I'll actually these with like layered vocal parts. So like here where it's all three parts, like each one of those will be a voice too. So we'll have like these stacks of vocals going along, and then have the harsh vocals, stacks of vocals going along with this keyboard and guitar part, and then have harsh vocals underneath. And then in this transition into the second chorus, this will just be more harsh vocals, kind of really build up that intensity and then kick it into the chorus. So I'm not gonna, let's see, let's get into it here. So harsh vocals here. I'm not gonna do it. Oh, layered vocals here on this high part. More harsh vocals. Chorus. Right. So it gives you an idea of what I'm kind of envisioning there. One thing about writing with harsh vocals in mind is like, unless I mock them up myself, which I suppose I can do, and have it just sound like, whatever my weak screaming sounds like. It's more like I have just the rhythms envisioned in my head, right? And if I'm giving it to a vocalist, I have to kind of explain to them exactly what I want. With the actual vocal melodies, I can sing it, or I can, once I get this into my DAW, maybe not this week, but next week I'll show you, like, I have really cool AI voice thing that, I know AI is a dirty word, but this is a cool way to use it, that basically gives you a realistic sounding vocal part to go along if I do a mock-up. So that's the perfect kind of thing to give to an actual vocalist to learn. So that's how that all works. And then I have the chorus, and I basically repeat the chorus twice. There is a slight tag at the end of the chorus too. I'm trying to remember what the chords are for that. I think it might just be, oh yeah, it's actually the tag at the end of the chorus is that same chord progression that I was just talking about from the intro. So it's like, so it's that same exact. Right. So there we go. So that's sketched up through the first, or I guess through the second chorus. And that, I mean, up to that point, this song is already way longer than I planned on it being. I knew that was going to be the case. That's always the case with everything I write. Everything ends up being way too long, which is fine. That's how it goes. This is prog, right? Nothing wrong with writing a long song. So up to the end of the chorus, yeah, I mean, that's into the second chorus, that's almost 4 minutes long already. This is going to be like an 8-minute song, which is fine. So after this point, I've basically just been sketching out random other ideas. Like, I like what I've got up to that point. So that's like, probably half the song at least. And a lot of the core elements of the song there. there's still a few more things I want to do rhythmically, and there's a few things I want to do kind of feel-wise, right? I want to do some heavier stuff, right? I've kind of hinted at a little bit of that here. So I have a number of different heavy riffs that are really cool. And then I also have this really awesome groovy bridge part, which I've just kind of figured out the rhythm for. It's very cool. It kind of goes along with that intro part where it's the 3 groups of 5 against that 4-3-4-4 kind of rhythm. And I'll play that in a minute, but let's take a look at a couple of these heavy riffs. There's a few real nasty ones in here. No, not that. I think I maybe put them towards the end. I kind of just wrote them and I'm like, I'm just going to throw them back here. I'm going to actually get rid of, just to make this session a little easier. I don't need any of this stuff. Original version, since I've already used all the pieces I'm going to use from that. So there we go. That'll make things a little quicker. So I'm tuned to F sharp on the low string. And so I'd like, if I can do it, to fit in some of these riffs that use the low F sharp. This one is nasty. This riff sounds so cool. I think I wrote this on the weird 7-string tuning originally. I was just trying to play it on the 8th string. This uses that same 15-16 rhythm, basically. And more of these kind of triplets. So it's based around this pattern. That's weird. Where's this? Oh. I haven't tried to play this on the A string yet. That note should actually go down to there. So let's listen to it first before I just try to butcher it here. That's a sweet riff. I don't like the exact drum groove I have kind of going underneath it right now, but it's a really cool riff. It's still following some of the things I did earlier. So like I'm bringing back these 16th note triplets, and I still have kind of that modulation up a minor third because it starts kind of in F sharp. Right. Let's see if I can play it solo. This one would take a little bit of time to work up, but it's a sweet riff. Actually, I'm going to fix that drum part while I'm at it. I'm not sure I'm going to use this riff, but if I could squeeze it in somewhere, I will, because it sounds awesome. Basically, I have too many cymbals in there. I think that'll sound cooler. I'm almost considering turning some of these riffs, and this might happen later in the song, into like straight 4/4 riffs. Right now we're in the 15-16, so I'm basically cutting off a 16th note from that second beat. I think it might be cool to have a version of this that's in 4/4, so that second beat is the normal length, give you more of a straight kind of headbanging riff. Let's see how this sounds. Yeah, sounds better. So that's a sweet riff. This one is ludicrous. It's kind of the same sort of feel. There's a lot of triplets, but this one has just a crap ton of natural harmonics. I'm not even sure. I was kind of experimenting with it. I'm not sure how easy this riff is going to be to play. But in the last measure, another thing I do here is actually metrically modulate up to that 19 for one measure. I'll just play this riff. This is ridiculous. It might not fit in this song, but it's awesome. So that's that riff. I think that sounds sick. I'm not sure. Once again, I'm not sure how easy that will be to like pull off. Some of these natural harmonics are all the way from Germany. I suppose it's nighttime there. What is it? Are you 8 hours ahead of us? What time is it there? Is it 9:30 or is it 10:30? I don't remember the time difference. Are those the notes? I think that's it. That's possible, I think. Oh, I wonder if I could do these. I didn't even think about it. I could probably do these notes in different places. It could be like. 10:30. Okay, so it is 9 hours ahead. That might be easier. I don't know. If I end up using this riff, I might try to adjust where some of those harmonics are. I don't know. There's something about these just like kind of nasty harmonics that sounds really cool. I mean, you see here, like I basically put what is this, like 11 harmonics in a row as 16th notes. Definitely doable. I think if I was not on my 8 string, I could probably do this right now. But like, what's this part? Ah. As I totally mess it up. Let's see. Alright, anyway. You get the idea. I might not even have enough distortion to do this properly. But that's a cool riff, and I think it was kind of fun to bring in that metric modulation inside of a riff. I might just kind of take that portion of it. We'll see as I go. Okay, let's see. Did I add any other heavy riffs? Yeah, I did this other harmonic thing. I don't know. I didn't really like how that sounded very much. What is all this? Is that just the chorus again? I'm gonna get rid of some of this extra stuff here. Just because I don't need it. So, anyway, there's all the extra crap I've added at the end. This was the last thing I was just working on. So coming out of the second chorus, I have this heavy riff that basically follows that original chord progression. And then it's going to kick into this groovy part I was just talking about. So I'll let this play and you'll hear how it sounds. And I think what I'm going to do is kind of just work on this section for the rest of this time. I'll work on this kind of groovy middle section because I really like how it's starting. I just kind of want to beef it up a little bit. So coming out the end of the chorus sounds like this. So that's this groovy part. Absolutely love the way this sounds. It's so cool. So I'm bringing back that kind of beginning part of the song where I'm doing these 3 groups of 5, right? And then also superimposing that against the 4-3-4-4 rhythm. The main sort of little chugging overdrive guitar part. This is what we call a compound rhythm. So if you don't know what a compound is, basically it's the combination of when you have 2 rhythms against each other. So a really simple example would be like 2 against 3. If you have, and this usually happens with polyrhythms, so you have 2 against 3 if they're in different notes. So I can't even do a 2 against 3 right now. So basically what you do, that was where the 2 in this case was happening on top, 3 on the bottom. A compound rhythm would combine those together. So instead of all of those rhythms that are happening are just going to happen on a single note. So now obviously that's not a terribly interesting example because it's, you know, 2 against 3 and it just makes like a fairly basic rhythm. These get more interesting as you do more complicated rhythms. So in this case, actually I haven't even tried to play this. There we go. That's actually surprisingly tricky to play. I kind of just put it down, but that's a really fun, interesting compound rhythm. And so that's kind of the main core underneath. And then the drums really hint at both. So once the groove kind of kicks in, I have hi-hat doing basically the 5s. So it's like 3 and then 2. And then the ride cymbal doing the original 4-3-4-4 rhythm. So if I just solo the drum like groove part. So if you just listen to the open hi-hat, that'll be your even groups of 5, right? But also at the same time as this rhythm's happening. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Very cool. And then I programmed some ghost notes in there. I'll do that more once I get into like a virtual instrument, but that's basically the groove that's happening here. Chord wise, I'm keeping this super simple. So on top of the really basic intro part, I'm just adjusting the lower notes underneath. So A flat, C, and then F. So you can hear that here. C. So I'm trying to figure out exactly what I want to do with this. What I'm thinking is that this is kind of just going to slowly build and then eventually get back to the heaviness. I don't know if I can get it to the point where like some of those crazy riffs I just showed you will work. After this, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, maybe it makes more sense to just like build this up into a different heavy riff that isn't quite as insane. and then go back to the chorus. I have some ideas for the last chorus, but I'll probably have to do that next time. Or I might just do it off screen, because apparently I just decided to write lots off screen. Oh, thank you, Logan. Yeah, I think this part sounds really cool, and I think it fits with the vibe of the original. This is because, like, I think this song, I don't know, I'm kind of taking it into some weird heavy directions because I want to do that and I like that, and I have a 8 string guitar and all that. But I feel like this particular song and groove seems like it's at its best when it's more fusion sort of inspired, right? So that's why I wanted to have all these sort of clean, more groove-based sections. So I think this part in the middle fits really well. So let's see if we can make this a little more interesting chord-wise. I might actually switch to my 6 string because it'll be easier for me to figure out chords. I'm having a hard time figuring out chords on the 8 string because I'm just not used to that extra low string. But I need the 8 strings for the riffs. That's important. I think having a couple of those low notes for some of these riffs sounds really nice. All right. There we go. Now we can figure out some chords. So I'm really just like, so far this is all just in like C natural minor, right? Which is cool. I'm thinking maybe, so the original progression we had like A and then A flat. So I could actually probably bring in the A again somewhere. So like we could do like a chromatic thing. That might be cool. So C, B flat, A. That. So let's see, what would a voicing of that be? So like, ooh, that's cool. So like, I wonder if that's something that could come in, should come in right away. So at first I have it just going on C, and then the chord changes kind of kick in. Let me try this out, just to see. So there's the A. Are we gonna start with A flat? Yeah. Maybe I should see. No, A flat's, so A flat's fine. So really I'm just gonna change. Oh no, so I'm gonna do C first. And then B flat. What's really cool about something like this is I think it sounds really cool even just in Guitar Pro. Once I get it into my DAW and I'm loading up the better sounding virtual instruments, it's going to be even another step better. Like, to me, this is interesting, right? I don't think that a lot of people write in Guitar Pro, you know, like this. I don't know why. I do. It's just because I'm faster at it. But what I know in my head is like, if this sounds good here on Guitar Pro, it's going to sound like a billion times better once I get it in real instruments. And I've done this enough that I can like hear in my head what that's going to sound like, right? So that's a skill that maybe takes some time. And it's because I've written in lots of different ways before too. I wonder if I need to flesh out these chords with some other instrument. I wonder if I should have like, just so I can hear the chords a little bit better. Maybe we'll get like the piano can play. Oh no, I guess I have acoustic piano doing. Maybe I'll have the electric piano play some of these chord voicings, just so I can kind of hear what they're going to sound like. So what is it, G? Let's go down an octave. I might not keep this in here, but I really just want to hear what this all sounds like together. Okay, come on, please. Get in the spinning wheel of death. The live stream is going to be so much better once I get a new computer. Who knows when that's going to be? Hopefully pretty soon. It's fun to do this though. I've been meaning to live stream more in general. So I think I'm going to keep these chords. Should I keep these chords the same the whole time? Let's see. I forgot that last voicing. So. Oh, there we go. Too. Okay. These are going to be not on guitar, so what was I doing? I changed this up to an A flat. That was the same, and this one goes down to an F. These first two are going to be the same. Actually, the okay. All right, someone's got me a question here. I'm 16. I started playing about 2 months ago. I started trying to write my own song. So when I first started writing songs, the very first songs I wrote were just using whatever I knew, right? I mean, what I'm doing right now is like uber complicated, right? Let me just adjust this here. I think that note needs to go down to A. One more. Somebody turn down. And when I was writing songs originally, I just wrote whatever I knew. I can't remember the exact chord progression from the first song I ever wrote, but I'm pretty sure it was like... You know, something like that with just like open cowboy chords. I used what I knew, and then I kind of sang along a simple melody and kind of put together a song that way. You know, it kind of depends on where you're at, you know, as a musician. At first, just try to write something you think sounds good. I know that seems like super generic, but something basic, right? Use a simple chord progression, a simple riff, a simple groove, something really easy, right? I'm sitting here writing stuff in 15 and 16 and all that, but I did not start doing that. I started writing in 4/4 like everyone else. I started writing basic songs, basic riffs, basic chord progressions, basic melodies, basic structures, right? And only after I got comfortable doing that was I able to sort of move on to other things. So, you know, if you have a cool, like, you know, if you're playing rock guitar or whatever, like, come up with a cool power chord riff, right? Like, just something simple, whatever makes sense. Put a drum groove to it. Maybe try to write a simple melody. Either like singing it out or even just playing it like a pentatonic scale, try to come up with a melody. That might be a worthwhile thing for me to do at some point on a live stream, is just like write a basic song. instead of fumbling around with these stupid chord voicings. Okay, I want to hear what this sounds like. Oh, okay, I need to take this up an octave, but I think that sounds awesome. Here we go. Let's try this. Oh yeah, I love that A chord in there. Little modulation to the other key. I think what I'm actually going to do is get rid of this top note on these chord voicings. It's unnecessary. And in fact, I might actually just, we'll have to see. I might just use the lowest note on all of these, because the handled by that clean guitar part, right? So it's probably unnecessary to have any of these other notes in here, maybe for like an atmospheric type of thing. I imagine once I get this into my DAW that I'm going to be using all kinds of different keyboard sounds and stuff. I'm going to try to find some interesting, more atmospheric kind of stuff with tons of delays and reverbs and all that. So let's see. Let's see what this sounds like. I'll get rid of the top note. What DAW do I use? I use Presonus Studio 1. I've used that for over like 15 years at this point. But honestly, people ask me that a lot. And the truth is, like, any DAW, any of the professional DAWs will work super well. They all have their strengths and weaknesses, I think. Logic is super popular and very easy to use. I think Studio 1's pretty easy to use. That's why I like it as well. But obviously Pro Tools can do everything you need to do. Cubase, a lot of people use that. Whatever, you know, honestly, it's like, as long as you can work it well. I even know people use GarageBand, and I used that for a long time. If you can manage all the different elements of that DAW, that's all that really matters, I think. Okay, I decided I don't like this A flat in there. I'm just going to keep this first chord the same for the first two measures, and then we'll do the sort of adjustments. So actually I can probably let these ring like so, and then like so. Okay, let's get the full groove in here. So I'm going to kind of copy this over a few times. Let me make sure now as I change stuff, you'll notice that, like, I've got to change everything. So I changed this guitar part, you know, to kind of change the bass notes underneath. So I got to make sure that I copy that over every time this repeats, right? And this is the same sort of thing I would do in a DAW. I want to make sure everything is blending together. That little clean guitar part, that all stays the same the whole time. The one last thing I need to do, I guess, is adjust the bass groove here to fit the chords. So C, this one's C. This one I think is cool, but I want it on F, or sorry, B flat. Let's see. Come on, my computer's. Okay, this needs to go to B flat too. Have these interesting little like muted notes in the bass part. If I was to play it on bass, you'd hear how that sounds, I think. But so this one's got to go to A. What's that chord? I don't think I like that note. I just do F, D instead. Ah! Yeah, we'll just do like a... Alright, like so. Let's listen with the groove. Yeah, that sounds sweet. I don't know when I'm going to bring in this bass. The bass. Right now I kind of have it holding off for a while, which is cool. We'll see. I may bring it in sooner, even just holding like root notes. Maybe I'll do that in a different instrument. I'm not sure. How long is this? I do want to think about the length of this. Right now, this part is, whoa, 1.5 minutes long. I think that's actually probably fine. Especially if I then, after grooving on this for a little while, start to build it. I could even like keep this groove going and add some heaviness under it, like heavy rhythm guitars. I don't know. I think I want to figure out a melody first. I think I can probably use, I don't want to do like copy the verse melody exactly, but I can probably use bits and pieces of the verse melody over top of this groove. So let's see how this sounds. Actually, it kind of works like perfectly, but I think I want to hint at it, but not use it entirely. Obviously, to hit the E there. Can I hit that metric modulation? Maybe we should hum it out. It's so funny. I have that melody just like stuck in my head from playing the verse, like listening to the verse over and over again as I was writing that. So, I do like it, but I think it needs adjustment. I wonder if I should bring in that later. So maybe I'll do like a different melody first, and then the second half. So with the second half. Maybe that would be the. So let's put it in. Let's put it in. Might as well. Actually, I can probably copy from. There, at least partially. This is the fun. I mean, honestly, writing melodies is like by far the hardest thing to do. Let's see. It's not going to start there. It's start on the fifth measure. Slip into the harmonic at the end. I'm not sure what that means. You want me to play a harmonic on the guitar? I'm not playing this on guitar. This is going to be a vocal melody. If that's... That'd be too weird to do. I guess that actually holds for longer. It sounds so terrible with this, but I want the vocal in there so I can at least hear. So that'd be a natural. That's right. So let's see. Actually, I wonder if I should do a lower note. Oh yeah, that probably makes more sense. So it'd be a C underneath. Are you just not going to do it? Okay, thanks. Gosh. And I think what I'll do is the second time through I'll have a variation. I'll put that in, and then I'm telling you, this is so much easier to do when I'm not streaming because my computer will actually like cooperate. Oh gosh, what? Where would that go? All right. I think it's close anyway. Let me figure out the first part of this and then we can have like a whole melody. I'm kind of humming these and also playing them at the same time. It's really giving me an idea of what this is going to sound like. I have the idea. Let me mute the singer here. I think that's the melody, or at least close. There it is. And then the second time through, I'll have this sort of adjustment at the end. So one more time. And actually, maybe. Okay. And the second time through, I'll do the upper part. What if that's doable an octave up, like for a kind of a loud version of this? Thanks, Robert. Yeah, I think it sounds cool. I just want this part to be like simpler and really grow and build. That'll make all the sort of crazy stuff that's already happened and this crazy stuff I want to do later make sense. So I was curious about that note. Fine. I keep going to that D. I feel like that's something I do all the time, but that's cool. That's super low though. Yeah, I know. I wonder if the second time through I don't hold on the D. That's the only thing that sounds weird to me. I think that's better. Let's see. There it is. That's what I want. Sweet. I played the harmony over the last two notes. I'm not sure exactly what you mean, but I get the idea. I think. Okay, there we go. I got the melody now. We got to put it in. So weird. I'm kind of just like singing this over top of this, and of course we're in 15/16, so the melody is maybe not lining up as easily as I thought it was going to, from a rhythmic perspective. So let's see. Oh no, it's E flat. I think that's it. Oh, I gotta unmute it. No. Oh, it's just eighth notes. So. Oh, it's actually coming in earlier. Wow, okay. I gotta play this. Oh, okay. So it is this, I think. Okay, I gotta unmute it. Even that doesn't sound right. Is it a triplet? Really weird. It's kind of. No, I think it is. This. But I feel like that next one was anticipated. So is it actually that? That feels like slow. I don't know. Let's put the next part in while I try to figure it out. Man, dealing with odd time signatures sometimes it sucks because like these sort of things would be like I have the melody there, but then figuring out exactly how it's fitting into the time signature is tricky. And I've already forgotten what my melody was. There it is. Rhythmically, I think the third one is this, but this is a C. Okay. I gotta be done here in about 10 minutes. See if I can get this down. I'm kind of being a stickler about how long each of these notes hold, but I think it'll matter in the long. It's to save me time later. I do a lot of stuff that like is tedious time wise, but it saves me work later on. Is kind of my process. Yeah, let's listen. Oh, this is down an octave too. If I'm actually doing I think I might actually be doing this. I don't know if that's what I'm doing, but that I might actually, let's try this. B flat major triad at the end. Oh, that's actually closer, I think. But oh, was I anticipating? Oh, mine is this. My brain hurts. I don't know why I'm like playing it and it's fine. I think I'm like oh yeah, Mikey, that is actually kind of similar because I have like the escape velocity is like minor to major. There is some modal mixture stuff happening. Okay, so I think it actually is. I'm just going to stick with this for now. You're watching me just struggle forever. I'm going to leave it there for now. I hate that I have to like octave down all these for the vocal range. I don't know. I could just use a different instrument, but I kind of want the quote-unquote vocal sound, even though it's terrible. But so this is gonna be up a half step. Okay, I think this is it. Yeah, that's cool. cool. I wonder why velocity was. Are these all mezzo piano? Oh, that's mezzo piano. That's why. This is second half. I forgot the end. I think there we go. So this would be a B flat. Actually, harmony would be cool. I haven't written any vocal harmonies yet. I definitely will have those in this song at some point. Oh, drop to the G at the end of the first phrase. Oh, like there? That'd be cool, actually. It's super low vocally. I'm thinking more because of singing wise. G, assuming unless the G is an octave up. Oh, that's super low. It's hard to sing. So I'm thinking of that. I did think of doing that, but range wise, I don't know. This one we're gonna do an A. That's one thing too. You're thinking if I'm writing vocally, right? I'm thinking I have to think about the range of the vocals too. With the instrumental melody, you can kind of move it anywhere. I do like that low G, so I'll consider it. But I think range-wise. Yeah, I think that's the melody. I think I want this all to be mezzo forte. Why is it doing weird stuff? Okay, I don't think that it's starting in the right place though. I think I want to start it one later, maybe. Maybe I want to bring the vocals in sooner. I'm not sure. Oh no, it needs to start. Where does the chord start changing? Right there. So it needs to start here. Okay. I think I want to bring it in right away. With the drums. So like there. And then it does repeat one more time. So let's kind of listen to all this here. At some point, it'll go up an octave. Okay, last one's going up an octave. One octave up. And then just for the hell of it, let's take this chuggy rhythm guitar part. We'll put it on the 7th string. We'll lower it an octave. Are these all going to be in range? Maybe not the F. Ah, that's a bummer. That can go up an octave. That's fine. Okay, that's cool. And then let's have the bass just... Well, maybe I'll keep the bass on its part already. Let's make the drums a little more intense. I guess I'm going to have to just open the hi-hat more. Like for now, just as a quick thing. I just want to hear how this sounds if I ramp it up. I don't know if I'll do this right here. I mean, maybe it would ramp up, you know, later. I don't know, but this will at least give me an idea. I'm sure this is probably terribly boring to watch me like try to figure out a melody forever. That's why I've done a lot of this off camera, because honestly I'm working way faster when I don't have the pressure. Oh, partially the problem is the groove here. Oh shit. Oh, because I have all these ghost notes in here. Let's see. That sucks. Let's keep the ghost notes. The dynamics of the drums are like lower in general. Okay, let's try this now. I need some more kick drums, I think, eventually, but we'll leave it here for now. Nothing boring about it. Well, I appreciate that. I think it probably is interesting for some people. This is really weird. I mean, this idea of writing music like just on a live stream, for me, I'm kind of like forcing creativity, right? It's funny because as soon as I ended the stream last time, I had a bunch of ideas and then I wrote them all down off stream. But I think this is interesting. Okay, let's see. Let's maybe kick in before this. I wonder if that would that probably would actually transition completely smoothly back to this one. Maybe. I don't know. I'll think about it. I'm going to leave it there for now. Let's change the bass dynamics here. I definitely need a different groove. On the second half of that, but I'd probably get rid of this higher guitar as soon as the other guitars come in. Okay. What I want to do, if the computer will allow me to do this, is I want to listen to the entirety of the piece up to here, which is 5 minutes, but just to kind of get a feel for how it's going to sound overall. Yeah, anyway. Extra stuff I need to add in the beginning part, but it's cool overall. I need to do a lot here. Whatever. Yeah, Robert, I probably will adjust some of these melodies as I go. Some of these are placeholder-ish, right? Gotta find that balance between having to be repetitive and catchy and also not too stagnant, so. Yeah, it's probably be vocal harmonies too. Yeah, you're right. That'll help a lot. Like this part too, there'll be harmonies. That's what I got so far. That's 5.5 minutes. Yeah. So I think that's cool. There's some stuff I need to do in the bridge, but it's getting there. There was one last thing I tried, which let's see if I can find it. This is ludicrous. I basically took the verse part and did this like crazy galloped, like super fast galloped rhythm. So like, I literally was just sketching this out. I don't even know how this sounds, but. Where's the vocal? Is the vocal mezzo piano? My only thought was if I do some like crazy riffing before, like between the bridge, that I could then break it out into this verse part once, and then that would go like directly into the last chorus. I have no idea if I'll use this, but it was kind of a crazy thought that popped into my head. So like a. Right, something like that. I may continue it a little bit too in there, but anyway, all kinds of stuff in here. I have lots of ideas, which is great, right? That's better than having no ideas, but that might be a bit much. Yes. Also, it sounds weird with like weird Guitar Pro instruments, but I think it might, depending on what happens between the bridge I was just working on and the end part. If I do take it as heavy as I want to, if I can make it work, then that part might work. If not, whatever. But for me, it's kind of about just jotting down ideas. And then, if I don't end up using it, then whatever, I'll maybe save it for something else. Either that or just scrap it and not use it. But I'd rather have more than enough ideas and then kind of not use them if possible. There was one last riff I didn't hear too, where I'm metrically modulating to a slower tempo, like a triplet sort of thing, the opposite of the faster metric modulation. So like I don't know. I kind of threw that riff together. I don't think that fits with this particular song, at least in its current state. But it's a cool like triplet riff, kind of nasty, slow, sludgy thing. But anyway, lots of ideas here. I'll continue working on this next week. I think what I want to try to do before I stream next time with this song is I'll start to mock it up in my DAW so that you can hear it outside of Guitar Pro instruments. And then that'll give everyone a better idea of what it might actually sound like. And then I'll probably, knowing me, I'll probably write some off stream to like see if I can throw some of these heavy ideas into the bridge and all that. So anyways, thanks for hanging out. This ended up being way longer than I expected of a stream, so I have a lesson in 15 minutes. Gotta go. But thanks for hanging out. I'll see you all next week. If you haven't checked out my video I put out today, I've been posting all kinds of stuff lately, so trying to keep the content train rolling. Also, almost to 20,000 subs. I think, but 200 away now, which is cool. Should hit that in the next couple weeks. If anyone you know enjoys this kind of thing and hasn't seen my channel yet, let them know. It's always appreciated. Yeah, and I'll see you guys